Edge Designation, Introduction and Action Plan for the CAIA Level 2 program for the 2024 exam cycle. First and foremost, let me just introduce myself. My name is Russell Jude, and I head up the CAIA program for Edge Designations. At Edge Designations, we do exactly that. We do designations. So we offer training for CFA, FRM, CAIA, as well as now FTP as well. Just before we get going with this particular video, this introduction and action plan video, just to let you know, the purpose of the video is twofold. Number one is to introduce you to CAIA Level 2 for 2024. In other words, what can you expect from CAIA Level 2 in the 2024 cycle? Number one. And number two is what can we at Edge do for you to assist you getting through your CAIA Level 2 exam and preparations. First and foremost, let's start off straight away with the CAIA aspect of CAIA Level 2. And there are two groups of people that find themselves in CAIA Level 2. The first group are those that have passed CAIA Level 1. And then there's a second group of guys that are allowed to write CAIA Level 2 as a result of being CFA charter holders. Okay, so the second group, the CFA, I'll just refer to you guys then as the CFA guys, have not done CAIA Level 1 first and foremost, and this might well be a new introduction for you guys into the whole way that CAIA works. Okay, so first and foremost, let's have a look over it. Let's jump straight into this particular video. And the study time for CAIA Level 2 is around about anywhere from 200 to 250 hours of study. And again, that'll depend a lot on your background in finance, how strong a CAIA Level 1 perhaps you had, etc., etc. So it's, of course, that's not set in stone, that 200 to 250 hours. It'll depend on each person, will be different. Okay, let's just hop straight into talk about your CAIA Level 2 exam. It's a 4-hour paper. For those that were familiar from CAIA Level 1, same story, it is a 4-hour paper. CAIA Level 2, just like Level 1, there's two sections, Section 1 and Section 2. Both papers are 2 hours. However, unlike CAIA Level 1, okay, only Section 1 for CAIA Level 2 are multiple choice questions. And again, let's do the maths quickly. Okay, so you've got 120 minutes, 2 hours to do 100 multiple choice questions, which is again, just like Level 1, 72 seconds per multiple choice question. If you are unfamiliar with this particular format, perhaps you come from the CFA stream, okay, it is very quick. Okay, to be able to do 100 multiple choice questions in 2 hours, 72 seconds a question is quick. You've got to really, as you get into that paper, you've got to put yourself down and you've got to really move through that particular paper. Not an easy task, but on the reverse side, you've got to finish in order to try and get through this particular paper. As we get closer towards exam time, which we'll see now is in March 2024, we'll start to release more videos surrounding things like strategy, how to finish this on time, how to prepare better for the exam, etc., etc. Okay, so first exam section number 1, or exam session 1, 2 hours, 100 multiple choice questions. What's interesting though is that when we move to exam session 2, now the CFA guys probably are more familiar with this. This is the CR, this is the constructed response section, or the written section, no longer multiple choice anymore. Again, it's a 2-hour paper, okay, and we'll talk more about this in a second, but in this particular section 2, which is the constructed response paper, okay, in most instances, there are 3 multi-part constructed response questions. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, what's interesting though, section number 1, both section number 1 or session 1, which are the MCQs, as well as session 2, which is the constructed response section, both of those, okay, are 2-hour papers. However, the multiple choice section makes up, and I'm going to highlight this in another color so we can see it clearly, just to make sure we 70% of the marks coming for the first 2-hour paper, and 30% of the marks for the second paper, which is the constructed response section. So it's important to remember that the MCQs, which is paper 1, and the constructed response section, which is paper 2, do not carry equal marks. They're the same times, 2 hours for both, but they do not carry the same amount of marks. 70% of your marks are from the first paper, and that's why I say those 100 MCQs, okay, that you need to do in 2 hours, you've got to really push through those, and you've got to finish those, because those make up the majority then of the marks. Constructed response, which is the second paper, made up of 3 questions with different parts, probably part A, B, C, D, and maybe even an E. We call them multi-part questions. There are 3 of them for paper number 2, and they are in a written format or constructed response format, making up 30% of the paper. When can you write? Well, there's 2 windows that we are able to write CAIA Level 2 in. Window number 1 is in March 2024, and second window is then going to be September 2024. The March exam window runs from 18th to the 29th of March. As you can see, it's around about 15 days in which you can write your exam. And remember, of course, guys, as soon as you've registered with CAIA, that just gives you entrance into the program. But remember, once you've done that, you've got to still book your exam date, okay? And remember, the earlier you do that, the earlier you register, the earlier you book your exam date, the more likely you are to get the exact date within those particular times. From the 18th to the 29th of March, you're more likely to get the exact date that you would prefer. So guys, book early, make sure you get the date that you're looking for. There's also going to be a second writing in September 2024. And remember, within the 2024 cycle, so be it March or September, the syllabus remains the same. CAIA does not change the syllabus within a calendar year. But remember, of course, come 2025, and are we looking quite far ahead? Yes, then there will be changes to the syllabus again for that. Let's have a quick look at the topic weights that you can expect in CAIA Level 2. And over here, as we talk about this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the changes that are present from 2023 to 2024 for CAIA Level 2. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on those. We will record a separate video which we'll call CAIA Level 2 changes for 2024, where I'll go into greater detail with respect to the changes. Here I'm just going to discuss them more generally. Okay, now topic number 1, emerging topics. Okay, emerging topics for CAIA are the more topical things that are going on around in the alternative space. Okay, and that particular section comprises, I'll give you the detail over here, comprises, if I just draw a little bit of a line down there, that comprises 8 readings altogether, emerging topics. Okay, 3 of those emerging topics have changed from 2023 to 2024. So of the 8 from 2023, 3 have dropped, and we got 3 new ones. So you will have, if I'm just going to put over here for you what's new, well, you got 3 new readings from emerging topics. Reading number 2, for those that perhaps have been in the system for a little bit, okay, that used to be called ESG, ethics, ESG, and regulation. Okay, there was a lot of ethics over there, particularly called the Asset Manager Code from CFA, etc. That's now gone. Okay, there used to be 5 readings there, okay, under ethics, regulation, and ESG. As you can see, it's had a name change as well. It's now called Universal Investment Consideration. So, yeah, there's been a bit of a change over there. We've got 2 new readings there. Okay, now if I just stop over here, basically, there's a little bit of good news for those that perhaps have studied for CAIA Level 2, but perhaps weren't able to write it, or even wrote it and perhaps didn't pass it. Good news that those are the only real changes for the whole of CAIA Level 2 from 2023 to 2024. So a little bit in emerging topics. You've got 3 new readings there, and you've got 2 new readings, and a name change. Just remember that if you are looking for ethics, regulation, and ESG, well, it's now called Universal Investment Considerations. Okay. The rest, each one has got 5 readings. Models, number 3. Number 4, institutional asset owners investment policy, risk and risk management, methods for alternative investing, accessing alternative investments, due diligence and selecting managers, and volatility and complex strategies. All of these, from topic 2 through to topic number 9, have got 5 readings to them. So you really got your work cut out for you. There are a significant amount of readings to get through for CAIA level 2. Again, good news, guys, in terms of 23 to 24, not much in the way of change. A little bit in emerging topics, but those they always are going to change because that's the topical stuff that they deal with. 2 new readings then under Universal Investment Considerations, and the Asset Manager Code goes away. So 2 come in, 2 go out. As for the rest, there's 1 or 2 little changes, but other than that, from topic 3 models till topic 9 volatility, it's all carbon copy of what it was in 2023. Good news. Okay. Now, just to talk briefly about, as we spoke about initially, I'm just going to take us back up here. We said that there were, section number 1 is 100 multiple choice questions. Now the question is, where do those MCQs come from? Well, they're going to come from anywhere from topic 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's where your MCQs come from. Okay. If that were so, then where do your constructed response questions come from? You're going to remember what we said a little bit earlier. I'm just going to clean up here just a touch. Okay. And we mentioned that there were 3 constructed response questions, each worth 10% or 10 marks. 1 of them are coming from emerging topics. 1 of them are coming from Universal Investment Considerations. That's 2. Where's the 3rd? Anywhere then from topic 3 all the way through to topic number 9. So remember, we know in terms of constructed response, we know we're going to get 3 questions. 1 comes from emerging topics. 2, question 2 comes from Universal Investment Considerations. And the 3rd is a little bit of a wild card because it could come from any of the remaining topics. However, when I now move across to the multiple choice section, remember that you will get no multiple choice questions from topic 1 and 2, emerging topics and Universal Investment Considerations. Your MCQs, guys, are only going to come from topic 3 through till topic 9. And that is the makeup of your exam. Just again, just to summarize that last time, remembering, guys, that your MCQs, paper 1, 70% of your marks. And within those 70%, what will your paper look like? It'll be 100 multiple choice questions. We then move across to constructed response. That's worth 30% of your overall mark. And what will you get there? You'll get 3 constructed response questions. 1 will come from emerging topics. 1 will come from Universal Investment Considerations. And 1 will come from somewhere else. Okay. And please, I beg you, I'm begging early this year, guys. Okay, please don't phone me close to exam time and say, where is that 3rd question coming from? Which of the remaining topics? I promise you, guys, I do not know. CAIA doesn't tell me. Of course they don't tell me, because that would be a massive problem if they did. They don't discuss it with me. They don't even tell me. They don't do anything together with me with respect to the exam. And of course, that's what we respect, of course. So I don't know where the 3rd one's coming from, but I can tell you it's coming from somewhere there. Okay, from topic 3 through till 9. Okay. We move on a little bit over here, guys, in terms of textbooks and chapters. Okay. Generally, your emerging topics, okay, which is topic number 1, which is the more topical, up-to-date. Remember we said there was 8 readings over there. You normally get those. Those are called CAIA readings. We get those over there. and CAIA makes those readings available to you. Of course, we at Edge summarize those for you and make them available to you in a much easier, no, I shouldn't say easier, but a shorter format, and make it a little bit easier to read. Okay, topics, the rest of them, 2 through till 9, those you typically find in the Wiley textbook. And for those that are unfamiliar with that, the Wiley textbook is a textbook for CAIA, okay, and it's made available to you electronically, and then you're going to get the remaining topics you're going to find over there. The question that we often get from our candidates is if they use our Edge Designations material, our notes, our videos, etc., is that sufficient to pass the exam? And then do they need to look at the Wiley textbook? And the answer to that is obviously no disrespect at all to the Wiley textbook. Can you pass the exam with Edge notes alone? Yes, you can. I know that because most of our students do that. What then with the Wiley textbook? I always tell candidates that the Wiley textbook is a fantastic resource. It really is. It's a fantastic resource. It's a lovely textbook. It's well written, well organized, and it's a lovely addition to your study. So why don't people make more use of it? Generally speaking, it's a time issue. So they make use of us, Edge, as a prep provider. They use our notes and videos, which are comprehensive. We cover every single learning outcome statement, but often they don't have time to go through the textbook itself. But if you do, you're only going to gain from it. It's a wonderful, wonderful textbook. Okay. In terms of other material made available to you from CAIA, they give you handbooks and workbooks and study guides and all that kind of good stuff. All very valuable resources and all available free on the website when you register. Do take advantage of those. Okay. We go over our page over here and we talk about some other information just to finalize what we can expect a little bit more on the CAIA side. Okay. For those that are I'm quite comfortable with talking about calculator policy over here, okay, in CAIA level 2, because no matter how you got to CAIA level 2, if you're from CAIA level 1 and you pass the exam, well, you know what calculator you can use. It's the Texas Instruments BA2 Plus or the Professional. Candidates often ask me, why am I always never mentioning the HP12C, which is also a permitted calculator to use, guys? And the reason I don't mention it is because most prep providers don't provide any support on the HP. They just provide support based on the Texas Instruments. Okay. And if you're coming to CAIA level 2 from CFA, okay, well, then you're used to it anyway, because remember the whole of CFA, you've either used one of these two calculators, either the Texas or you've made use of the HP. So you should be fairly familiar with the use of the calculator. At Edge, okay, we talk about the 4C approach. Okay, those that have been with us before will be quite familiar with the 4C approach. Okay, number one, the very first C is what we call the consistency. Okay, I'm not going to take too much time on these guys. The first C is the consistency. When we talk about the consistency and the success that you're going to have in the CAIA program, typically speaking, it's consistent work. Do a little bit of work or a lot of work some days, a little bit on other days, but work every day. Just make sure that you are consistent with your work. When we say consistent, it doesn't mean that you've got to put in 2 hours every single day. Some days you may not feel like it. Some days you may have a headache. Some days you may have something on. But do a little bit of work on those off days just to make sure you keep in the program and you are consistent. Our second C is commitment. Okay. But I don't need to talk too much about that. When you're in CAIA level 2, however you got here, you're committed. Okay. The third C is concentration, and it's not a real C, is it? Because it's not the word that I was looking for. I was looking more for focus, but it didn't fit into my acronym, so I went with concentration. But what I mean by concentration or focus is when you work properly, work deeply, focus intently. Better to do 1 hour of good, focused, intent work than to do 4 hours and say, well, sure, I was in my chair from 8 p.m. till 12 o'clock at night, but I'm not really so sure what I did. Okay, we like the concentrated or the focused work. And the last one, the last C that I always do need to mention, look after yourselves, guys, and keep calm. Okay, that's just CAIA. Okay, it's not your whole life. If you fail it once, you can write it twice. If you're not able to write it due to time constraints, you'll write it the next period. It doesn't just look after yourselves. I always tell people, you come ahead of everything. Your own goodwill and your own health comes with it. It's just CAIA. Keep calm. Okay. Then we get asked about equations. And like I told everybody in CAIA level 1, I'll tell you guys in CAIA level 2, equations must be learned. Unfortunately, every single equation that's over there, guys, does need to be learned. There's a very short list of equations that will be provided in the exam, but if memory serves, it's 1 or 2. Good news, though, is that at Edge we do provide you with a comprehensive equation list and formula sheet, so at least you've got that. Yes, you still have to go ahead and learn it, but at least we give you a complete list of all the equations. Okay, in terms of the makeup of your exam, less than 30% are calculation based. That's a guarantee given to us by CAIA that 30% or less is the amount of calculation based questions in the exam, which of course the balance of the equation then is quite easy. 70% of the marks then are going to be theory or qualitative based questions. Okay, CAIA also provide an online exam, a very, very valuable resource. There's always discussion on our Edge WhatsApp groups, and the candidates always say, well, does this online exam provided to us by CAIA, does that represent, is it representative of the actual final exam? Is it easier? Is it harder? And we always got disputes whether it's representative or not. Notwithstanding, it is still a very good resource. When you're doing the MCQ paper number 1, there's always 3 or 4 possible answers. When you talk about 3 or 4 possible answers, there's A, B's, or C's, or you're going to get A, B's, C's, and a D in there as well. To pass this exam, what do you have to get? CAIA tell us that if you get 70%, you are guaranteed a pass. However, the pass mark may be low, and we know what that means. That if the exam is too difficult or less people are passing, they may put people through on a pass mark that's lower than 70. Generally speaking, but not guaranteed, results are made available 6 weeks after the exam window closes. So at the very last day of the exam window, okay, in our exam in March 2024, I think it's the 29th of March, count 6 weeks after that. In most cases, you will get your results by then. Hopefully at this point of the video, I've given you some kind of indication of what you can expect from CAIA level 2. Okay, I hope it's instructive. I hope you've got a good sense of what's in there now. And just the second part of this video, I just wanted to have a quick little show of what we at Edge can do for you in terms of getting you through the CAIA level 2 program. So I'm going to start not on the first one, I'm going to start on the second one. We're going to start with the online program. So our Edge Designation online program, you get a complete set of notes covering every single learning outcome statement. Those that have been with us before will know the format of our notes. It's in exactly the same format as learning objectives. So we give you a learning objective, and then we give you notes on that. Next learning objective, notes on that. It is comprehensive. There we go. In addition to all the notes, you get a complete set of videos that talks you through all the notes, as well as a question bank, as well as a formula sheet in there as well. That's our online option. It's comprehensive. Let's move down back up to option number 1, which is not only called online, it's called Zoom plus online. And the only difference between option number 1 and then option number 2 is that you get a live Zoom component to it, which are your live Zoom classes. Typically speaking, we have those live Zoom classes on a Sunday to try and accommodate as many people as possible. For the Europeans in the UK, Germany, those areas, okay, it's generally Sunday afternoon. For the North Americans, Canadians, etc., it's normally Sunday morning. And if you are from the Australian, Singapore area, Hong Kong, that's normally Sunday evening. So typically these live Zoom classes do accommodate most people. What's the difference between the live Zoom classes and the full set of videos? Because the full set of videos does cover the entire syllabus. The live Zoom classes, it's a classroom setting. Everyone gets together on a Sunday. You can ask questions within the classroom. I don't cover the entire syllabus in these live Zoom classes because there's no need to, because you've got a full set of videos on the syllabus. What we do is I typically tend to pick some difficult questions, some difficult topics, and try and open those up a little bit and go through those together with the guys within the live Zoom class. As we get closer to exam time, we then move to option number 3, which is your revision program. And your revision program is, again, it's a complete set of revision notes, revision videos, and full practice exams, 3 of them with solutions in there. And that we release typically closer to exam time as candidates look to revise and do practice papers. The balance of the options that we've got over here that we offer are a little bit more what we call a la carte, in that depending on what you're looking for, those are available. So if you just wanted a question bank, that's option 4. If you just wanted notes, option 5. And if you were just looking for exams, that will be option number 6. But if you do go for the full package, and I'm often asked by candidates, what's the best that we have to offer? It will be option number 3 plus, option number 1 plus option number 3. Option 1 is the Zoom plus the online option. Gives you everything for the program, and option 3 will give you revision and practice exams in there as well. Of course, if you are not interested in the live Zoom classes, then you would go for option number 2 and number 3, which will give you all the notes, videos, questions, etc., plus revision and exams as well. That then brings us to a close of this particular video. Let me leave you with my email address if you wish to make contact. It's russellj@ebs.co.za, and our web address is www.edge, nice and easy to remember, edgedesignations.com, and all of our stuff is there on the website. As we come to the end of this particular video, I'm just going to take the opportunity to wish everybody the most amount of success in their program, their CAIA Level 2 program. Just wishing you the most amount of success, and most of all, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. There's some lovely stuff within the CAIA Level 2 program. Okay, obviously your aim is to pass this exam, but enjoy the process as well as you go through. Wishing everybody the absolute best of luck and success.